Hello everybody. So I am here to talk about today my trip to the National Book Festival, which is so exciting. I went on Saturday. Saturday was the only day of it, and I went specifically with a friend of mine to see DEBORAH Harkness give a talk and ultimately get our book signed by her. DEBORAH Harkness is actually one of my favorite authors. Currently, she wrote, for those of you that don't know, A Discovery of Witches, which continued into her All Souls trilogy, which is now expanding out into an All Souls world, if you will. I'm a huge fan of her work. I have been since high school. They are a absolutely wonderful series. So detailed, so interesting. She's a historian, so stuff gets very specific in fiction. But so my friend and I were very excited to go and have the opportunity to kind of speak with her, even just for a little bit, or hear her talk about her books and her experience. The National Book Festival does take place in Washington, D.C., and I was very pleasantly surprised. Because it's one of those things. It's held it's not held at Library of Congress, but Library of Congress puts it on at a convention center in D.C. And so I think I wasn't even expecting, when I saw about the National Book Festival words, that DEBORAH Harkness would be even speaking at it. I took this to be very academic right away, which again, you should never judge a book by its cover or a book festival. I will say the one thing I was so disappointed about was Ron Chernow was there, the man that wrote the Alexander Hamilton biography that Lin-Manuel Miranda used as the basis of Hamilton. And he unfortunately was literally at the same time as DEBORAH Harkness. So I could not go to his panel, and I really wanted to, but I was aware that I was there for DEBORAH, and that I just, I could not go to DEBORAH's panel to try to go to Ron Chernow's. But it was an interesting experience, definitely. I mean, I've actually never been to any type of convention. I've always wanted to go to a Comic-Con type thing, and I've never gone, and I feel awful because where I live, there's 50,000 conventions close by in various locales, and I never go. But I knew very much a lot of it is very much, oh, well, you're doing panels, or you're going to panels, and then, you can shop for items. But to get into the DEBORAH Harkness panel with enough time, the people working there recommended that we sit in on the first, the person beforehand talking, and because they basically just let you stay in there. Once you're in there, you can hypothetically just stay in there all day if you want to. So they were like, no, you guys should definitely, if you want a good seat or a seat at all, because we're aware that, they were even we're aware that DEBORAH is one of the more popular ones for this convention. So did that. So friend and I went to sit there, very much intending even, I think, that we were just not going to enjoy the person before. We've never heard of him. It's Joseph, I feel so fucking bad. Oh, Joseph Finder, that's what it is. Sorry, Joseph Finder, if you watch this, I'm so sorry. But Joseph Finder, which is spelled Finder, but it's Finder. But he was actually very interesting to listen to, and I'm interested in maybe reading some of his books, because he is kind of a crime thriller type author. And it was just very interesting to listen to him talk. He talked about his time in grad school at Harvard, where he was actually investigating that the tycoon Armand Hammer's father was working for the KGB, and so he did a lot of investigative journalism for it, and it was just a very wild story, and one that was very much could be a book within itself. And he was just very compelling, so I'm very interested in giving his books a shot, because my hope is, if he's that compelling of a speaker, that he would be as well for an author, because he definitely knew how to spin a story, at least orally. But so we were pleasantly surprised and really enjoyed his presentation before DEBORAH. And DEBORAH was amazing. It's one of those things where they always say, never meet your heroes. And DEBORAH definitely is one of my heroes, because I've always wanted to write a book, and I've always had that fear, or I give up because it's too niche. Because Discovery of Witches, as much as it's very mainstream in the sense of it's witches and vampires and demons type thing, the information and the plot line and like the details, and you can tell about what she cares about, is so specific. And it gives me a lot of hope that I could be that specific and have that much success. The fact that she got a whole book series, now an encyclopedia for her world, and she's extending out, like, and now her book is a TV show. Like, that kind of success is phenomenal. And it's something really I aspire to be. And I have to say that Deborah is one of the nicest people I've met. Like, very genuinely nice, not like the fake kind. That you can just tell, one, that she's very down to earth in that sense that, like, she's still a professor over in California. You know, she's just kind of living her life, and her life now just includes the fact that she's published books, that she's still writing books to get published, and now she's, you know, producing the TV show. But for her, it's just kind of part of her life, and she just seems to, she doesn't have this arrogance about her, or that this kind of success would have gotten to her head. And just her talk was fantastic. She answered a lot of questions. There was a Q&A about it, about like her works. People asked a lot of really great questions. And what struck me the most about her is she talks about how part of, you know, what she got her degree in and what she's a historian in is talking about that you can't capture, well, that isn't captured a lot, at least in like the 1600s or 1500s, is like a first-hand account of what it was like to experience like a book for the first time, like a very positive memory. And she talked about one of hers, which is she was visiting England, visiting her mother's family when she was a child, and her, I guess her grandmother gave her her mother's copy of Anne of Avonlore, and she just remembers like the pages were those brown ones that like oxidize very quickly, and it smelt of toffee. And she remembers reading it in England in like her room. And that really struck with me, because it is like, she talked about it, she was like, everybody has that one thing, if you can think about it. It's not even maybe the first reading experience you've had, but like everybody kind of has those reading experiences where they just kind of are very imprinted on you, both positive and negative. And, you know, I'd never thought about it like that. And the fact that there's kind of this quest by her field of study to find that, I think is so interesting. And it was a very, very compelling talk, because again, you can tell it comes from a lot of love and a lot of care. But so my friend waited in a fairly long line to get our book signed by her and take pictures with her. They are all over my Instagram. I'm very excited about it. And just talking to her again, she's a very, very genuine person. Like, you know, she talked to my friend first, because my friend was in line first, and was just really wonderful to my friend, because my friend basically was like, oh, I want to be you when I grow up. And she was like, no, you want to be you. There's already a me in the world. We need you, type thing. And you can tell she just very much meant that. And then when I spoke with her, I talked about how she is an inspiration to me, about especially like being able to be so specific in what you love and write about it, that you know, but it can still be published. And she basically was like, well, isn't it wonderful to know that can happen? I was like, it is. And then she was like, well, I look forward to reading your book one day. And it's just, she was just so nice. And frankly, like, after the week I have had, it was like what I needed, like that positivity. So thank you, Deborah, if you ever see this video, thank you. I needed that positivity. Like, oh my God, after the week I had been having. But no, so she was just really wonderful. Didn't like it, I wish I could be like, oh, here's my haul from it, and I bought a bunch of books. Frankly, it was just obviously it's the books of the people who were speaking, and it was just the same thing where it's like they weren't anything like, I guess like some were signed, but nothing that I was interested in. So it was like, it wasn't like, oh, all these copies are signed or anything, and they were like the same prices as what if I were to go to Barnes & Noble, or I could get them cheaper on Amazon. So I didn't actually make any purchases, because I was just kind of like, oh, well, I could buy these books at a later date. And also, the line was so long. Oh my God. The line to like buy stuff was so long. So my friend Howard was like, no. But nope. So National Book Festival, A+. Very, very happy to go. I'm hoping, you know, next year that'll be another reason for me to go and attend it. I'm going to definitely, once I'm done babbling, I am going to insert video clips of like the trip. I did like a little bit of filming here and there a little bit. You'll get a little bit of Deborah talking, all of that type good stuff. So enjoy.
So they have to transfer a gallery place anyways, don't they?
Yeah, over at the wharf, I think on the... Yeah, that's right.
So I actually, if you really burrow down closely, my real research specialty is how did people in the past share information in medical books? However, there's something that's very hard for historians of the book to get access to.
Okay, so obviously just want to finish up and say, again, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this very, very small, terrible vlog style version of videos. I have just only a little bit of it because basically it's like I wasn't going to put my friend in anything just like haphazardly. I'm trying to be very respectful of my friend's privacy when I do go out with them. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and as usual, if you hit the thumbs up button, that would be wonderful. And if you want to hear more of my ramblings about books, hit that subscribe button. But I will see you all later.